And welcome back into the Rowdy Studio. I'm Stephen Levine from NASCAR Illustrated. That's Tom Vandervoort from Sporting News, and that whole thing was his idea.
Yeah, and I thought it was a great way to open.
Great.
It was so Las Vegas.
And entertaining. And Las Vegas and entertainment is really what we're all about this weekend.
I hope so.
As the Cup guys head to the first downforce track on the schedule. Las Vegas, you know, typical mile-and-a-half downforce track. The keys are not terribly surprising here. Turn through the corner better than the other guy.
Yeah, definitely, but I think you have to start with really what Denny Hamlin said at Phoenix after he got out of the car. He said, aero push. Now, when you're talking about aero push at what is essentially a big short track, now you're going to go to a very fast, especially now the banking is progressive and much higher than it used to be back in the old days. You know, you have to think track positions. It's going to be very, very important here. Qualify up front, stay up front. You got to think pit strategy is going to be big.
I think
try to get up front.
Qualifying is going to be even less important than pit strategy. 2 tires, fuel only, short pitting, things like that to try to gain that track position.
It's going to be hard. My guess is it's going to be very hard to pass for the lead.
Oh, I don't think there's any guess about it.
Yeah.
It's been hard. It was hard at Daytona. It was hard at Phoenix. No reason to think it's going to be any easier at a track
where it actually is usually hard to pass.
Right. I think we should expect a clean air parade at this race this weekend. Don't you think?
I think it's going to be tough to pass for the lead. I'm not going to go as far as this kind of disparaging comments. Clean air parade.
So, and handling will also be a key, perhaps not as much of a key, but you want to get through the corner.
Right, yeah, that's certainly true at almost every race you go to, that you want to get through the corner. And here, when you have the high rate of speed, you know, aerodynamics is just going to come into play more in your handling too. So which car, you know, you have the new race car that you're working with, which team can kind of get that thing balanced and cooking through the corner is going to be big.
Now, when you talk about drivers, Carl Edwards had a breakthrough win last week at Phoenix, but really Vegas is a track where you would expect that to come for Carl Edwards, much more so than a Phoenix.
Yeah, and I believe Vegas was the last track he had won at prior to that long stretch before winning again.
70-race stretch.
At Phoenix last week. So you'd think Carl would be a factor here, but again, we're not sure how the Fords are going to run as a group.
I guarantee you they'll run better than the Toyotas.
Well, that's the other issue, which is where is Toyota? Where is that Toyota engine right now? Some disturbing things have happened to those guys in the first 2 races of the season, and they've got to get that solved, and that's a big thing. But again, you have to come back, and you know what I'm going to say.
Jimmy Johnson.
Don't you have to come back to Jimmy Johnson?
Well,
when they reconfigured, I think he won the last race on the old configuration and the first couple on the new configuration, and you know he's won 1 here recently. It's been a little while. But, you know, Carl actually has 2 wins to Jimmy's 1 in the last sort of 4 or 5 races here. But you have to like where Hendrick Motorsports is right now. You have to like how the 48 team adapts to a new car. They've always been good at that. So you really do have to look at Jimmy.
And, you know, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s had a pretty good couple of races so far this season. And, you know, if Hendrick Motorsports is on top of their game with the 48, there's no reason to think some of that won't trickle down to the 88.
Well, and Kasey Kahne, as we know, is a big fast track guy. And don't forget about Big Daddy. Don't forget about Jeff Gordon.
Okay, who are you picking?
You know, I'm leaning towards Kasey Kahne in this.
Wait a minute, you picked Jimmy Johnson 2 days ago when we did our TV show.
I changed my mind. I'm trying to be.
What are you just you figure if I pick enough guys, I'm bound to get it right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going with Kasey Kahne now?
And Jimmy Johnson from before.
All right, well, I'm going to stick with my pick from a couple of days ago. It's a little bit out of the box, but look, Greg Biffle had a good run at Daytona. He had a good sort of middle of the race at Phoenix where he looked very strong, though he didn't finish necessarily well. He did have some speed in his race car. Downforce track, you think Roush Fenway. So I'm going to go with the Biff for the win, a place he has never won at Las Vegas.
Well, it's a good pick.
Well, thank you. I feel so much better about myself now.
I always like the Biff.
All right, that's Tom. I'm Steven. Thanks a lot for watching.